Welcome to our Google Classroom. And this really is more than the basics. Shelley Baltic's repeating this session later today. And so each of us will record it. Hopefully it'll be similar. And what I want to point out a few key things I wanted to talk about, and then we're going to go to chat questions such as notifications that was just brought up. I do want to address the stream, your topics, using emojis, possibly with your topics and your assignment titles. The to-do, this is going to lead us to one of the chat questions already typed in that said about sending home or getting a student's work all in one place, and also including multimedia. We'll show you the student side of things too. That was another request in our chat. And that student summary is something you can send home for the family to know what's missing. I'll briefly touch on these resources. I found this one recently from Scott Knopf, and he has it split between K4, 512. So if you guys don't mind, I want to get a feel for who's here too. I know we could be K12 in this group. So in our chat, go ahead, just tell me what grade or grade levels you work with. And Casey Bell, she has a great cheat sheet for the teachers, as well as one you can send home to parents. Very detailed. Those cheat sheets are like 14 pages or more. And then here's the video series that you can access. And that's created by Eric Kurtz. He works over in Canton. So I'm going to exit out of that little presentation here to talk with you about that very important part in notifications. So we're seeing a lot of upper grades in our chat showing today. So if you want to escape from the screen, you don't necessarily have to look at my classroom, but I am going to my class. You can go to your own class. When you're in Google Classroom at the dashboard, you can click the main menu at the top left. So those are the 3 horizontal bars. When you click main menu, scroll down. Now I have a lot of classes that I have not archived, so this is a longer list than probably yours. But down here, I can go all the way to the very bottom and get to settings. So what we see in the settings are notifications. Some people have told me they just get bombarded. It's too much for them and they turn off their notifications. But I would caution that because there are features like private chatting that students can send you messages back and forth. And you would miss notice of those if you didn't have them turned on. But down below then, you can dial this and control a little bit. I just want to make this a little larger so it appears bigger on your screen. So comments, yours that you post, that mention you, and here's the one that I find very important to have turned on, private comments on students' work. Now, the next section down is just saying you are a participant. So maybe your building administrator has you in a Google Classroom. That's how they collect your lesson plans, or that's how they send out agendas and memos. So Mindy, it's going to be, she put in the chat that she missed where I went to get these notifications. And I'm going to go here at the top left in my Google Classroom dashboard. It's whether you're in a class or not in the class. You could be at the dashboard. You could be inside a class. Scroll all the way to the bottom. In the lower left corner, you'll see settings. So these are my notifications. So these probably aren't as important to worry about because you're probably enrolled in one or no classes as a student yourself. The ones that really matter here are the ones that you teach. So all the classes that you teach, what's going to happen? Late submissions. And if I look at our chat, I think that was the specific one you wanted to know. I have to scroll up in our chat quite a bit. A lot of you responded to your grade levels. So notifications that students turn in assignments late, that's it. And now this is going to give you the notice, so you might be getting a Gmail message I have another place. So this might not have been the same notifications that you were thinking, but I am going to get to another spot. And sometimes I just turn off this one that says scheduled post, whether they've been published or failed, because I just posted it. I really don't need to have an additional email that tells me that. And then down below, you can dial email and mobile notifications off for an entire class. So just want to let you know that was a little different. So more notifications. Here is the teacher. When I go back to the dashboard, I get these new menu items. And if you guys don't see those, you could also go to your main menu and you have this teaching and it says to review. And I'm actually going to this one. So I'm at the Google Classroom dashboard, clicking that main menu, and at the top left, and I'm clicking under the word teaching to review. So right now I see I don't have to go inside of the class itself. This is going to show me all my classes, or I can just pick one class. It shows things that have no due dates. I don't know if any of you have explored in here before. And so I'm going here and let's see, assigned. And unfortunately, this is a class I haven't been using for a while. Somebody turned in work. So I can click that. Now, there was no due date with this one, so I'm not going to get a late notice. I think I might still be missing the mark on that chat request. And if the teacher would like, let me see, maybe I have, there we go, work in progress. This is probably a bad class. Hopefully you guys in your own classes have a much better list of choices than mine. Mine are all sandbox classes. And so I see things that are turned in, assigned, and graded. Let's see down below. These did have due dates. I'm not seeing late. So I think I'm still not answering that request very well. But if some of you came in here and didn't know about the to review area, I hope then this is something that you can use to your advantage to kind of cut corners and go a little quicker, because you can see all your classes at once and just see the things that you need to do. And these would be in different classes, all in one place. So I'm going to look at another chat request here, because I think I didn't do my best there on that notifications now that I think harder about it. And if Mindy wants to unmute her mic, she can talk to the group and tell me if I missed the point or if I somehow covered it there.
You covered it.
Okay. So if I look at another chat request here, it said syncing grades in classroom with progress book. I don't have that staged at the moment because that does take a little prep. And I will send out a video link here, and I will actually take you all to it right now. Because this is probably the fastest way to show you all, since I don't have an example prepped. They've already recorded a video. So I'm going to Progress Book Web Help. I'm going to paste this link in our chat so everybody has it, and you can click the link and go to this web help yourself. So webhelp.progressbook.com. Now, as I look, it's all the different pieces of the suite. I can go to Gradebook, I can go to their training tab, and this is where you're going to find a lot of handouts and videos and Google Classroom Sync. So I know they have a video here to show you all if you're standards-based. I'm still not going to recommend, if you're standards-based, to do the Google Classroom Sync, because that only works if you're assessing one standard, because all the marks are going to get, or sorry, all the standards are going to get the same mark. So I avoid it at standard space. But if you're traditional, Google Classroom Sync, I can click there. They have a nice step-by-step handout. So Google Classroom Sync works if the student has email, so they'd have their West Homes Google Mail in student information, or it would do a name match. Now, sometimes the Google account name doesn't match the name in SIS, meaning they use a nickname or a misspelling. So there's not an exact match. So what it does, it falls on a match to the student's Google account. So it will match with one of those, and they're showing you here how you would be bringing this in. And this is the grade book screen. You check assignment type, you say for which Google Classroom. So there's a step here where you would be signing in to your Google account. And then you can pick multiple class assignments or just one, and then you move forward. You can even re-import after students maybe have retaken a test, or maybe it's where they have improved their work, so you're going to give them new scores. You can re-import over top after the first time. Does this save time? Because that's probably why people think they're going to do this. In my opinion, it doesn't save you time, but it saves you from transposing a score, and it makes sure you're 100% accurate, especially with rescoring. So you don't transpose something, maybe the letters, you flip them, or if you just put the score on the wrong student. So step by step, there you got it. What their handout doesn't show you, it doesn't show you what you have to do on the Google Classroom side. So all before you start heading over to Gradebook in your class, I'm going to do my screen to take you to my class. When you have an assignment, let's see what I have here. If we have a kiddo, I should have went to my review class because that'd be much better. So one student turned in their work here on this activity. So as you look at the student work, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit here so the screen looks more traditional, you mark them in Gradebook and you have to hit return. That's how you start the Google Classroom Sync. Mark it, return it. Now it's staged and ready to follow the handout I showed you in your gradebook. So you all have the link to get to Web Help. I showed you here in Web Help under Gradebook that they have a really nice list of documents. It's on the training tab. So make sure you check that out. And there is a YouTube video farther down. Videos are here, and we have Google Classroom Sync. So you can watch that. I'm going to look at the chat again, and I hope you guys are okay with how we're going so far. Let me get some feedback from you. In your participants tab, I'm going to clear them all and tell me with a green check or a red X if we're okay, if you are okay on your end with how we're approaching our agenda, our kind of based on your feedback in our chat. All right, so Eric, Greg, Jeremy, and it's okay. You could say no, like, please, Rebecca, go back to your agenda. I'm okay with that. All right, so I am seeing, and Linda, and I want to, Linda, chat with me if you want something specific. I think you had a chat item in there too. Okay, is there a way to print out a single student's assignments or grades? So I know that was Linda's chat item. Maybe that's why she gave our red X. We need to get to her next. And I want to see a text, chat I missed from Gretchen, I believe, Acker. How can you get to and open your Google Classroom right now? If you missed it at the beginning, I had at the top of your screen an icon. You guys all see this. So I apologize for missing that earlier. If you click up View Options, you can exit full screen. So you don't have to be looking at my screen. You can be navigating your own Google Classroom. And in Google Classroom, it's classroom.google.com. That is the website to get you there. So back to Linda, is there a way to print out single student assignments or grades and completion of work? So I think this is one of my agenda items, and I think the best way I can address this is the item on the student summary right here, this one. And I hope this fits Linda's request. So if I go into my classroom and I look at the people, these are the students, and I can click any student's name in here. So I'm going to click on Simon because I do use this class for real for teachers who just want to see the student side of things. Or I also have some sandbox students in here too. Simon Fields, when I click his name, I hope this gives us what Linda's asking. I get a single student and I see everything here on the left. It's all. What if I want to see just what he turned in? What did I return and what is missing? So this is the way you would go in your own Google Classroom, click on people, and then you would pick a student's name. So Simon's my student, and I see it all. Now, this child did not have missing. So that was one thing I wanted to show you. When you click the missing, you see all the missing work in Google Classroom. Now, this student happens to have a guardian who accepted the invitation. We also have a second guardian who has been invited. It indicates that here in parentheses. They have not accepted the invitation. So there's an envelope up here. I can email the student or guardians. So when I click the envelope, I get to choose student, guardians, or both. So it can go to both of them, and I can type a message. Now you cannot print that necessarily or get that email, but you could print the screen that you have up here before emailing, and that would be your option as a teacher. And then there's this nice checkbox, include the student work summary. And I can click on send. So, Linda, can I check in with you? You can type it in the chat or you can unmute your mic and let us know. Did that help you with getting a single student's assignments? Okay, good. Yep, we're gonna hit these agenda items now. I think I've got our chat items or requests, syncing grades. The student side is on my agenda, so we are moving to agenda items. Here we go. So back here, the stream. Let's talk about that. A lot of confusion from parents has been submitted through district surveys across the state even, not just locally, and the parents are saying this about Google Classroom. The stream is a mess. They land here, don't know what's happening, what's going on, and it's because this is filled with assignment notifications, announcements from the teacher, and so here is a tip from me, and it's based on surveys from parents. Save the stream for announcements, and I'll show you where you can change this by going into your own Google Classroom and clicking your gear. Keep this like a virtual bulletin board. Maybe it is an announcement for the work for the week, expectations, classroom rules. Maybe it's an announcement, hey, we're having a Google Meet this week at a certain date, and then remove that item. Don't keep the stream chocked full of too much. And that's what you see here with mine. Now, how do you control that so all your announcements for assignment posts don't show here? Go into your own Google Classroom right now and click the gear at the top right. And when you do that, you're going to see your class details first. Just scroll a little bit down and we'll see in the general section, the word stream. What can happen in the stream? Okay, you'll probably already have that dialed down to maybe only the teacher can post or comment. Another idea, use your stream as a Q&A board where if you do allow the students to comment, you could have one post, one announcement that says, do you have questions on this work or this assignment or this week's work? Students can ask their questions, but they cannot do anything more. And then here's the big one. This is why I came here. Classwork on the stream. Hide it. Just get it off. We do not need to show every notification of your teacher posted an assignment at 7 o'clock. And we don't want the details. That makes it even worse and more cluttered. So I'm suggesting, my tip to you is to hide the notifications on the stream. And you know your stream options, either dial that down so only the teacher can post there so the students don't mess up your virtual bulletin board. And maybe if you want to do like a FAQ or, you know, where they can ask questions, you can let them comment. And kind of crowdsource, and maybe the students would even answer each other. So that is straight from our agenda today. Give me some feedback. What do you guys think about that idea? Maybe you'll, let me know if you'll use it. So in our participants panel, give me a yes if you already do this in your stream, or if you think, yeah, I'm gonna clean up my stream and only use it for announcements. Give me a yes, and it's okay. Give me a no if you're like, nope, I'm doing my stream different. So that's in our participants panel. Oh, some of you got that in the chat. That's great. Yep, Eric, or sorry, Kevin, he's doing it already. Excellent. And that's fine. Answering in the chat works for me too. Let's move on. Emojis, something fun, right? Not mental health, but in a way, emojis are gonna help our mental health. Believe it or not, I had a class this summer about emojis and social emotional learning. And the studies do say teachers who use emojis, you don't come off unprofessional, you come off personal. It gives a personal element to your classes. And so I'll show you where you can do this. So if you'd like to go into your own classwork, go in and you're gonna see that mine is very plain Jane. But let's say I wanted to do something with this topic here. So the topic was already typed, but I'm gonna edit the topic. I'm gonna click my 3 dots to the right of it, and I'm gonna rename it. So let's make this more attractive using emojis. And if I, right there where my cursor's blinking by the topic title, I can right click, and my Chrome browser is saying, hey, do you wanna type an emoji? Because emojis are just text. So I right clicked, and I have emojis and symbols. I'm gonna left click. It brings up a little window for me. Now that might not be the same for you. I am on a Mac, and typically though, you can just right click and just get emojis. And you can search, and I think, you know, travel and places. I don't know, I'm looking, because this is web resources. I want something kind of global. I'm looking, I don't know if there is an emoji. So let's say globe. Yeah, all right, so I did the search for the word globe. I got a little world. I clicked it. In my case, I'm gonna have to copy it. Let's see, it's usually simpler for the rest of you. Nope, don't want that. I'm having a rougher time than usual. That is not the normal way. Usually you could right click and you insert your emoji. Yuck, I just want to paste it. So my fail is not typical. Some other folks, what they do, I'm opening a new tab so I can get away from my classroom for a moment, but right here at the top I have an extension called Emoji Keyboard. So this extension and the there's a lot of extensions out there. I know you guys are limited to extensions you can use, but this one's a rainbow heart in case you're looking for it in the Chrome web store. So if I search and I just search globe again, the first way should have worked. And that's probably working for you guys fine out there. And I'm really surprised that that happened the way it did. Now I'm gonna paste that emoji here. So now I've renamed, and adding this visual element will help your students possibly separate whether it's a Monday or a Tuesday or a Wednesday type activity. Maybe they are the cohort blue or cohort red if you have separated your students by colors. And so you can use a color. Books are really nice if you're trying to use like days of the week. I think there's 5 different color books. So you can do that with a topic in your classroom. I'm going to go ahead and go here to something else I have posted, some material, and I'm going to edit it. Again, we can just right click, and usually I'm having a weird day here, but usually you just have emojis and you pick from them. So my computer's behaving as it should, but it's just not typical for the rest of you. And if this time I want to do something different, and I know that I didn't like how that was working, I'm going to keep cheating and using my emoji keyboard and search there and get a little palette. So I copy, it pastes it automatically for me, and I save. So it can be any of your documents. The title can have emojis in it. Your topics in Google Classroom can have emojis in them. So let me refresh this screen. We see my globe for the resources. I'm very surprised. It's not showing. I thought I had saved that one. That one should have been there. Okay, this time it's stuck. Maybe I didn't save the first time. So use emojis to add color. I mean, there's some fun to it, but it also will help clarify. If somebody's talking to you about a resource and the titles are simple, or sorry, the titles are similar, then you can say, hey, which one is it? Oh, it's the one with the globe. Oh, okay. Well, maybe that'll help clarify things in communicating. So emojis. But to do, I kind of hit that already because we were talking about notifications and I wasn't 100% sure I was getting what Mindy was asking. So that to do, I'm going to go back to my dashboard. This is telling me what I have to do. I also see missing. There we go. I think this was what I was looking for earlier, and wanted to show you guys what is missing and what you completed, what's done. So I can also, this is me as a student though, and that's what the students are going to see, but you as a teacher, you have the to review. And I've already gone through this in detail, so I won't redo. We're finding teachers are starting to really snazz up their presentations. And we want to be sure, and I have just a minute here, I didn't get to show the student side yet, but in multimedia presentations, teachers are wanting to have text on screen, and then they're wanting to have audio included. And so I know you won't hear this audio, but because I didn't share my screen with audio, but this is simply an audio file to go along with text on screen. So maybe you have complex instructions, or if you just want to have audio reading what is on the screen to help your early readers and students who struggle. So I want to point out, when you add this presentation to Google Classroom, you're sharing the presentation. Google Classroom's not smart enough to know that you also have this inside the presentation. So what will happen, the students will get the presentation, then they go to click the audio and it'll say, sorry, file not shared. request to have it shared, and you certainly don't want it to be nailed with a bunch of requests from your students. So if I go ahead here, and I see it is 9:45, so if you need to just drop off so you can take a break, go ahead. I am going to make this my last item, but I'm going to continue for those of you who want to see that student side. So I'm going to quickly assign this activity, and then you guys can see the student side of things. Plus, I want to share with you guys this class. If you ever just want to see the student side, and this is a sample class meant for teachers, I'm going to put this into our chat real quick. This is the class code, and you can join this class. So scratch this down real fast. Oops, that's not. So RKFLPHA. That's the class code. You can join this, be in there as a student, and it'll give you several examples to look at as a student would. And so as a teacher right now, I'm going back to assigning this new Robert Frost activity. So that is an assignment. Robert Frost. Okay, and I'll say, listen and add a slide to reflect. And the teacher adds that material. Luckily, it was recent, so it's right there at the top of my list. So here's the activity for the kiddos. They each get a copy. We know that's super important, right? And I'm only going to assign this to Simon because I do have real teachers in this class. Sorry. And let's clear out. I don't want all of them being distracted with an assignment popping up. So quickly, I assign this multimedia activity to Simon. Now, as Simon, so let me go incognito here real quick. He's going to sign in. And the student view. What some districts do, the teachers know the kids' logins. You just sign in as one of their students. And that way you can get that student view. Some districts, they make up a dummy student, and then they share that with the whole grade level or the whole building. And then the teachers know that login. So that's an option. I don't know if your district does that. And Simon's going to classroom. So he's going to quickly do this in the next minute. So this is our student view of classroom. The cards look the same. He's going into this sample. And look how the stream, nice and clean. Only one post. Student has to go then to classwork to really go find anything. And because I did not put this inside a topic, and I didn't go into topics in detail, I just was renaming one, it appears at the top of the list. And so Simon clicks, and there is his file. Google Trash is changing. Okay, that needs to go away. And if I click the audio, luckily the teacher has shared it properly. So what the teacher needs to do, this one is okay, because the audio was pre-saved. The teacher has to make sure in their Google Drive that their audio is, let's go to our audio files. That they are shared. So it's a pain, but as you record and you upload audio to your Google Drive, any audio that accompanies, and it's not finding my Robert Frost recording. So I will pick just another. You click on your audio file and make sure you hit the share. And that way anyone on the internet can find and view. So if it's a Screencastify video you've recorded, if it's audio you've recorded, you need to just drop them all in a folder that's been shared, and they will inherit the share settings. So that's where I need to stop. And you all now have a class that you can join to kind of get more of that student view at your own pace. So I appreciate your attention and time and participation, but I want to be a little fair and give you some of a break before you start your next session. Talk to you all soon and have a good day.